This is Coach Celeta here. You guys know I wear many, many hats. And one of the hats I wear is actually being a coach. So I just wanted to stop by, not to take up anybody's time, day, or anything, but I wanted to talk about some things. And I'm going to start coming on here a little bit more often than I used to for this and other things that I do. I don't take advantage of it. I do my readings over there on Queen Universal Readings, but I never come live for you guys, right? So, hopefully, the way I have this set up, I hope my phone doesn't fall over. First and foremost, right? Um, and hope I don't get into disturbed. Now, let me say this: I have two dogs, right? And sometimes they like to talk. And sometimes I'm not always prepared to hear them talk. So they might want to say a couple of things. So just bear with me, okay? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to stop by and I want to talk to you guys. I wrote this book. Golly, let me see how long ago this book was. Oh, I wrote this book, man, 5 years ago, In Search of You. And I also created a workbook to go with it. And I think I probably talked about it on here before. But this is the workbook, and we're going to talk about that. And this is my sister, my oldest sister. I thought she would make a cute cover. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. So, uh, Lord have mercy. So when I wrote this book, there was a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I just thought I needed to find a way that I could help other people um, with dealing with a lot of stuff when it comes to how we handle our life when things come at us. A guide to finding your self-worth after a life-changing event. After there's things that happen in our lives that we're like, wow, this really happened, right? So I just want to go over some things that I can't remember if I did a video because I've done a lot of videos. But I definitely want to talk. I want to use some things out of here that I can actually, hopefully somebody can relate to as a woman. Okay. Hello. So I want to talk about some things that I think we as women could kind of like look at. So there's a part in the book that's called 3 R's, okay? And it's restoration, resolution, and resiliency, okay? So because I know we're in some trying times right now, you guys. Yes, hello. Hi, Miss Yes. Um, so um uh, we're going through some trying times in life right now. I mean, like internal, external, environmental. We're going through some things right now, right, in our life. Hi. And so what I want to do is I want to share where am I from? I'm in Louisiana. Um United States. I don't know if you're in United States or not, but yeah, I'm in Louisiana. So as we discussed earlier, and we talked about restoration earlier, okay, in the book, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the 3 R's real quick. Okay, welcome. So it basically says we mentioned that it means that we're thinking about taking back our power because a lot of what this book was consisting of is things that happened, events that are happening that made me start thinking I need to get back to me. Okay. So it says here, restoring your mindset and reassuring that you can move forward. Now let's go a little deep. Restoration can also be seen as a renewal of our inner self. How do we renew what we already have, right? How do we bring back all the strength or the power that we've allowed to go away? You know, we actually give our powers to everybody else, right? And if you want to look, it's my book called In Search of You, and I have a workbook to go with it, and we're going to put it hand in hand, okay? We're going to use it hand in hand. But I want to go over this real quick with you guys. Um, let's see here. So, when traumas, tragedies, your feelings of inadequacy and not believing in one's self restoration is a way to bring back to you or change all your negative feelings about yourself, to change them to positive. Having people in your life, how you think about yourself, how you see yourself, right? So this restoration gives us that opportunity to kind of restore what we felt was taken away from us, our powers taken away from us, things that we've been going through, and how we allowed it to take over, right? So this is a time when we restore ourselves and bring ourselves back to where we were with our light, our mindset being in a positive place, all of that. So restoration is a way we do that. So if you never recognize the positives about you from the beginning, restoring restoration is useless, because if you've never paid attention to all of the positive things about you, you won't even catch the restorations. You won't even know what restoration is, okay? So I gave an example, and one of the examples I gave was I felt good about myself. I was self assured. I was confident. I was strong. I was trusting myself, right? But when I was raped, because at the time this incident happened, when one of the things that happened to me, and we'll talk about that, um, uh, I was raped during my tour in Panama when I was stationed in Panama. And I no longer felt all those positive feelings anymore. I was self assured of myself. I was confident. I knew my job. I did what I had to do. I helped people. I did everything until that one incident changed everything about me. What I really truly felt about myself. My confidence was gone. I felt that I was the fault. And we go through years of feeling that it's our fault when no, it was not my fault. I was angry at myself. I said that because I felt it was my fault. I just said that. Wow, I just said that. I must know my books very well, huh? I was no longer in control of myself. That's number one thing that happens is you lose control. You lose control of yourself, how you feel about yourself, how things, the decisions you make, like every little decision you finally make in your life, when something like that happens, you feel like it's wrong. So you're always questioning, constantly questioning yourself. So you lose yourself. Um, there was many years of depression, okay, that I felt. I felt disappointed. I was disillusioned. But I finally got help. I finally got to the point where I didn't know what I was going through. So I went through a lot of things in my life where I didn't even know what I was going through, okay, during that period of time. So finally, I got the help. I was diagnosed properly, okay, but and it's not gone anywhere. It's an ongoing battle for me, okay, constantly. Years later, still suffer from it, right? Um, and I have good days and I have bad days. There's days when um, the crying. There's days when I try not to kind of, sometimes it's all right to go backwards and think, but sometimes just let it sit, because sometimes we're not ready to deal with a lot of that anger, right? Or that misplaced feelings, right? Um, so um, so now I kind of, like I said, I'm handling things better. I'm doing the things that I need to do to make sure that I'm able to cope with the things that have happened to me. So I said my restoration was waiting for me. It was waiting. All I had to do was to go and get it, because it was already. I mean to put it in my mind that, hey, this is where I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. I'm ready to be restored. So all I had to do was take my power back and understand that I could live. I could live without the anger. I could live another day without blaming myself, and I didn't have to feel as though I wasn't able to be loved by anyone, because a lot of that is being taken away from you doing something when something tragic and traumatic happens like that. Resolutions can be a firm decision to do or not to do, right? And the quality of being determined, okay? Um, This screams power. Once you resolve to make a change in your life for the better, it's a firm decision, and you are determined to make sure that you stay the course. So it's very, very important that you stay the course. No matter what's going on, put in your mind that you need to stay the course, right? Let's see here. There we go. We can also look at this with the mindset of resolving some underlying issues we may have with ourselves. Okay, seeking help, whether it's a friend, family member, and even a mental health provider, will definitely get you through. Okay, and also it'll change your mind to want to heal. In the process of everything, it will change your mind that you want to get healed, that you want the healing. Okay. So when I think about all my past tragedies, I had to resolve issues not only mentally but also emotional, right? The trust issues, the self-esteem issues, and the feeling awkward didn't help at all, right? I had to learn how to love myself again, and a lot of times that is the hardest thing we we have to deal with or endure, is finding ways to love ourselves and be happy with who we are. That is so hard for so many people. And so um, when I'm Queen Universal readings, and I'm talking to some of the people when I do my live shows, and I've done a reading and people have questions, what I'm hearing from a lot of people is, I'm hearing that people haven't even started loving themselves. So when they don't have love themselves, and you wanting someone to love you, and I'm in love and I'm loved, I can tell when people have not taken time out to love themselves, because there wouldn't be no question on how other people love you. When you show up for yourself, there's no question about how other people love you. Okay? But a lot of times people are not ready. People do not know how to love themselves. Their selves, excuse me, I said themselves, but their selves. So when you don't love yourself, and then you're upset when other people don't love you, and you feel awkward and out of place when other people don't love you, that's because you don't. And they can smell it. When I say smell it, I'm not talking about literally, but they can tell that you don't have, just by some certain words you use and the way that you react to certain things. People can pick up that you don't love yourself. You probably don't know that, but yeah, people can pick that up. So when you talk about getting into different relationships, you come in, you're insecure, you have trust issues, okay? You're angry. So you have a lot of things going on with you that people can pick up on. And because they can pick up on it, they're going to step back. And you're going to be that person that, wow, I just want to be loved. But you got to love yourself first. Why haven't you taken time out to love yourself first? You want to be loved by somebody, love you. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love everything about you. Your shortcomings, your flaws, your quirkiness, your awkwardness, your funny. I love everything about you. And because we don't want to do that, nobody's going to love you. People get tired of you coming with all your baggage. Restore yourself, basically, is what I'm saying. Go back and restore yourself. Bring the better half of you out. Okay? If you're talking about relationships, I'm not even just talking about love. I'm talking about relationship with family. I'm talking about relationship at their job. I'm talking about relationship with your friends. You have to love yourself. And when you stop loving yourself, other people can see that. And other people are going to try and start treating you. I think I have a version in this book where I talked about how people treat you the way that you treat yourself. Okay? So, resolution. The other word, we're talking about the 3 R's. I apologize. I went, viewed in life in general. Okay. So the next thing we're talking about is resolutions. How do we come to resilience? We have, restoration, resolution, and resilience. Resolution has to play a role in your journey of searching for yourself for the better self, right? Spending time being determined and having a firm decision and healing and growing as you forge a path to the ultimate new you, because we're working on getting you, the better half, the better part of you out. The next one is resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulty, toughness, right? Now, in some instances, we can recover quickly, but what about the long term damage, right? Resiliency can get us where we recover and we move on, but also we keep in mind there's a long term of damage that's been done, and it can come in many phases in our lives, right? From our childhood trauma to adult trauma. So does resiliency plays what? So what does resiliency plays? Um, I used an example of me being in the military, where we were taught not to run to go get help all the time. We were taught to fight it out, tough it out, or whatever, and keep moving. And so when it was time for us to get the help that we really truly needed, um, we were resilient to keep going. We were resilient to keep packing up and going to the fields. We were resilient to keep doing our jobs. Okay? So that's what it taught us, but that's not how everything is. And I realized that once my time was up with the military, I realized that resilience, okay, it was a fake. It was just to get us through because we were so indoctrinated to think that we were not supposed to say we're sick, okay, and that we were hurting, okay. We had to boss up, as they say, right? So I had to learn that. So that's the other resilience. So we talked about three different resilience. Ours. We talked about restoration, restoring ourselves to the better part of us. Resilience, being able to bounce back after something happens, not thinking about the long term. And now we're talking about restoration, right? I'm sorry, we talked about restoration, then we talked about resilience. Yeah, resilience was the last one. So if you go and okay, let's see here. You would find yourself suffering because you don't want that label or feel like you weren't able to be part of the team. I'm talking about resilience when you were told, I'm not going to go get seen by the doctor even though I'm hurting, because it put a stigma to you, right? Um, so, so you learn how to be strong. You had to look like everything was together in your life, okay? Um, but I know as I got when time was up in the military, I realized that all of that I was doing was not helping me at all because I crashed when I got out the military. All that I was holding up on and believing in, I crashed once I got out. So that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to take ourselves through a time in our life where we didn't check ourselves. We didn't do the reflection. We didn't do any of the inside work. And at the end of the day, when it's time to everything settle down and you can stop and relax, you realize that everything is still crazy. Everything is going crazy in your life still because you were so busy living, your busy life that you didn't realize. Once I stop and really look at what's going on with me, it's not always good, right? So we have to make sure we're paying attention to our emotional, our mental, and our physical, and our psychological health. It all is very important, okay, because it's who we are, right? So, looking at the three R's: restoration, resolution, and resiliency, restoring your mindset to the place where you can overcome all the difficulties. Um, we also discussed the restoration can be a way of renewing your inner self. Resolution, the firm decisions, okay, being determined. Make sure that you stay the course. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we stay the course. Also, understand that resolution can partner with renewing our mindsets during the process of changing from negative to positive, and how we look at our basic needs to survive. All of this is one. So, resiliency is tough when recovering from a difficult situations, right? The ideal that being resilient helps us to take some of the minor things that may cause setbacks to quickly bounce back and move on, right? So, I'm going to find that in the workbook and we're going to talk about that real quick. And let's see here. Here we go. So these are the questions we have for the 3 R's. And I haven't written in these books. These are brand new books. If you want a copy of one of our books, please hit me up. If you want both of these books, please hit me up. Okay. Um, this is $14.99. I think it's on Amazon. Yeah, I think this is on Amazon. And I think this is $12.99 for this book. Okay, this is the workbook to the In Search of You. Okay, that's one book, and this is the workbook to go with it. And this is what we're talking about right now. Okay, so what are some of the questions we're gonna kind of go over some of the things in the workbook. So the 3 R's. Name some adjectives that describes you. How do you describe yourself? Are you loving? I'm not talking about your physical appearance. I'm really talking about your how people would say your personality traits. Okay, for instance, are you a loving person? Are you fun? Okay, those could be some loving, fun. What's another one? Smart. Um, you have emotional intelligence. Um, you can say that you're funny. I mean, we already said funny. You can say creative, artsy. Those are all descriptions or adjectives that you see in you, right? Or that you know about yourself. Okay, so what steps would you take to restore your self worth if you just so happen to lose it? What are the things that you would do? Um, think of some of the things that you would do for if you needed to. What steps would you take? Would you sit down and do a self inventory? Would you meditate? Would you pray? Would you get some help as far as mental health? Would you do that to? And this is to restore your self worth. What are some resolutions you would need to find your self worth? What would you do? What are some of the solutions that you would find yourself doing to find your self worth? What are those things? What do they look like? What would they look like? Um, how would you change some of the negative attributes about yourself? How would you do that? And then how tough are you? What can you survive? What can you go through in life and bounce back off of? So the question is, how tough are you? The next question, these had 6 questions for this section. So is your toughness useful on your journey? And if it is, why? Being tough, is it helping you? Are you getting any benefits about from being a tough person? And the last question is, have you experienced damage to your self-worth? And is it long term? How would you answer that question? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was finished, but I have another one. Are you ready to change this damage? Are you ready to recognize it, pull it together, and then work on it? Okay. And the last question was, do you ever feel as though you don't deserve to be happy? Okay. So you should be able to find these books on Amazon. I think they're still on Amazon. Because, like I said, I wrote these books 5 years ago. And it has always been a part of my empowerment coaching kits and my resources. And I love sharing it with other people. But if you're interested in getting a copy of it, you can always go to Amazon and look up In Search of You. Okay? A guide to finding your self-worth after a life-changing event. And then the In Search of You, this is the workbook that goes with it. Okay? So I just wanted to stop by and share that with you guys. Remember the three R's, right? What are they? Restoration, restore, and resilience. Okay? Those are the three R's that we discussed today. Yeah. So I shall return, and I hope this helped somebody to find themselves again. And again, this is a awesome book, In Search of You. It's not a long read, so it won't take you long to read it. I made it real big so you can see it. So it's not hard to see. Um, but yeah, it has some real good stuff in here. And not because I wrote it, but um, because I wrote it. No, just kidding. Oh, also, at the end, in the back of the book, let me tell you what happens in the back of the book. There is, oops, let's see. Oh, the last words of the book. It says, when you lose a part of yourself in the midst of a life changing event, you search for ways to gain it back. Sometimes it can be easy, then there are times when you just want to say, forget it. You don't want to get out of bed to face another dreadful day. You stop living and loving. You avoid people and situations. You stop eating, smiling, and just being part of the moment. You don't want any of it, right? It's scary and confusing because it's unfamiliar territory for some. Others have been down this road before, and sometimes it can still be hard to swallow, right? I want to leave you with this. Love yourself through this roller coaster of life. Put you first. It's not about being selfish, it's about being here in the moment, living every day of your life, making a difference for you. Always remember, you are loved. Okay? And I think the pledge is in the back. Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm going to have to bring out my pledge. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. I think the pledge is in the back of the workbook. Let me make sure. I thought I put a pledge. It is. It's in the back. It's in the back of the book. This is the pledge. So the pledge says, I would like to leave you with a pledge that you can tell yourself as you go forward and continue to work on your self worth. I, Celeta, have decided to put a hedge around myself to protect my well being, my emotions, and my sanity. I will put myself first without feeling as though I don't deserve it. I will check on my own healthiness of my emotions in all situations. I will step away when needed to ground myself, right? I will tell myself how important I am to me. I will either accept or change anything about me that I am uncomfortable with. I will comfort myself and I will give myself time to heal, think, love, and cry, and not feel as though I am not deserving of it. I will demand respect and I will not be devalued by others' view of me. That's the pledge in the back of our workbook for the In Search of You. Okay? So I think I'm going to definitely have to put that in writing. All right? And make a pledge to yourself. I think that's a wonderful pledge. That's actually one of the pledges. My book, I have another book I wrote. I told you, you guys, I was writing a lot of motivational books. How Does Your Garden Grow is the other book. And it also has a pledge in the back of it. I believe in pledges. For some reason, pledges is a big thing to me. And I think I put one on Girl, You Worth It too. There's one of my presentations. And I also added a pledge to that one too. So I believe in pledges and I believe in affirmations. Definitely. 100%. And we can do some of those too. But yeah, definitely love that. So I am going to go ahead and let you guys have the rest of the day. Have a great Monday. Can't, man, you cannot beat waking up every day because there's so many people who didn't. So many people who did not wake up today. But we're here. All right? So, you guys, I want you to have a great evening. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.